welcome to M5 Detail Modification D-Grandpa series. This is going to be a long one, so for those of you who aren't M5 lovers, you're either going to love it by the end of this or hate it, or maybe just not watch it. Do whatever you want. But I have a F10 M5 and Silverstone 2. I believe it's Silverstone 2. It's a 2016, so normally that's the version 2 of it. It has a bluish hue to it, but this thing has silver wheels and lots of chrome and looks, pretty grandpa-ish. But I couldn't pass up on the car. I was looking for an F10 M5. It had 15,000 miles, was priced at 59,000 bucks. I paid 57 for it. It has carbon ceramics, every option possible on the thing, and a lot of options that I would never buy or never care to want, but it had it. And so I got a $135,000 stickered car, 2016, which is a competition package LCI, version of the car for a fraction of what it originally cost. And so I sacrificed on the color for the build, the spec, and the mileage. So what we're going to do here in this multi-series process is to paint correct. So we're going to decontaminate, correct, put new wheels on, then protect, and take you through all the process of all the latest products that I'm using, talk you through why, get you close-ups. Now I have a camera person, so this hopefully will be the best version of a full detailing series that I've been doing since the beginning. Kind of how I got my start in making videos was detailing my GT3 in a very long, unedited, multi-part series. My guess is this will be 10, 15, 20 episodes if you count in the modifications I'm planning to do as well. So let's get started. Normally what I would do is clean the wheels, but we're not doing the wheels because I have new wheels, which is the way to go, by the way. If you're a pretentious douchebag like I am, I just buy new wheels instead of cleaning them. So the main reason is I want to de-grandpa, so we're going to go to black wheels on the silver car, which I know some people won't like, but I don't care. I do what I want. It's my car. Well, it's Michelle's car. So this is the way to go, is now I get to decon and I don't have to mess with the darn wheels. So that's a good thing. We'll be doing the wheels a little further in on the process, where I got to get tires mounted, and then we'll prep and then coat the wheels. So that'll probably be episode 27 of this process, but we'll get to the wheels when necessary. All I'm going to do is blow out the carbon ceramics when I'm rinsing the car, and that's about it for the wheels. So we're skipping that part. And then I would typically do the engine bay next. The problem is I drove the car a few hundred yards, and the darn those turbos heat up like that. So I've got to wait. So I've got to let it cool. Otherwise, I'll end up spraying APC and it'll be drying, and I'll end up with spots, chemical spots and things like that. So you always want to do the engine bay clean. So that'll be episode 2. But normally would probably be episode 1. In fact, I'm doing a retake because we went over to start the engine and the engine was too hot. So let's get into decon. When I do this in 3 steps and with multiple products, and sometimes you might even call it 3.5 steps. We'll see, depending on what needs to be done. So step 1 is part of the process. It's going to be rinse it. Rinse it, then we're going to use decon soap. You've heard the story behind this. If not, go watch the video on this and how I came up with this. But this is my first product, which really isn't my product, but it's a product that I think needs to exist, and I really like how it works. And this is what's called, I call decontamination soap, which we're going to use to hopefully at least get us started with prepping and stripping waxes and sealants and older junk on the surface. This by itself isn't going to strip coating, and it may or may not strip all of the wax and sealant, just depending on how stout it is. But it's a good first step. It's a good first step for prepping your surface, stripping off. It's a bit more aggressive of a soap that I use to strip or get ready to go. Interesting thing on this is the darn pH on this is only like 8.5. I thought it was like 10 or 11, but it just works. I'm telling you, this stuff just works great, and it's not all that expensive. This 32-ounce bottle will probably last you a long, long time. I've already done 3 cars with this, and I'm only down to here.
So I'm going to put 150 milliliters in my, maybe a little bit more, 160 milliliters in my PF22 foam cannon. I'm going to put some on the sponge here, on the microfiber Madness and Creta Pad XL, and that's kind of cool that these are both Obsessed Garage type products, or the reason why they exist is because of Obsessed Garage, so that's kind of cool. So we'll use that. We're going to decon and wash first. Then we're going to iron remove. So I've got this backwards. So we're going to spray the car down with CarPro IronX. I'm actually transitioning to Optimum just because a lot of times CarPro's is harder to get. And Optimum's it's called Ferrex. It's pretty much the same thing. And Optimum makes it in the U.S. This comes from Korea into Corey, so it's just harder to get at times. Whereas Optimum just makes it for me instantly. CarPro's bottle's a lot cooler, but I'm going to put it in my own bottle anyway. So we're good to we're set up for that. So I'll show you how we do this. Really simple. I'm going to spray it on. You can choose to wipe it in or not. We're probably going to have lots of iron on this thing because I bet you this has never been detailed. So we'll get some purple. Then we're going to auto scrub the car. So I've got two things. The M5 is big, and so I'm really going to probably use this a lot. And then the little block here. So this is a auto scrub fine. I like to use auto scrub. They're the ones who kind of invented this idea. I stick with the original source. I think it's a little bit better. They engineered it, and everybody else just kind of copied it. So my wager is these guys make a little bit better product, but I don't know. I'm just honoring the source here. And then I use the block. They have a wash thinger, and I don't like those. I like these. And I don't like this on my machine. I like to use it with a hand strap on my hand. And with the bigger panels in the M5, like the hood and the roof and the trunk, we'll probably use this a lot. And we're going to use NanoSkin Glide, diluted, and tells you what to do on the bottle. We're going to dilute this, 7-to-1 is what I have it set up here in this, and we're going to use tons of that product. And then I guess the half step, so step 1 is decon soap, step 2 is iron removal or chemical decontamination, step 3 is mechanical or clay type. This is a clay bar alternative type decontamination. And then the half step is if we have any tar or anything left over, we actually kind of stick this in between here, that if we have tar or anything that we need to remove, we'll use CarPro TarX on top of that. And we may even break out a clay bar if necessary. This is a really old Adams clay bar holder, but I've got a bunch of clay bars in here. I use Adams clay is the clay that we have now. A lot of like Optimum I used to use, but they stopped producing their clay bar. So that's what we got. We're also going to, in this process, we're going to try out a new product, new to me anyway, is I always, in the process of detailing, a lot of times I forget to do this, but while we're rinsing, we're going to just we're going to clean out whatever washer fluid is in the car, get that all out of the car, and then we're going to put in new fresh DI water later on in the process. We're going to put this super concentrate in. So I've got some DI gallons at the garage, so we'll actually do that when we get to. So we're going to empty it out and we'll fill it up later on in the process. I'll share that with you. All right, so let's rinse the car and get set up and get started. All right, let's get the washer fluid out of this thing. Yeah, it's a good thing we're doing this because there's a bunch of junk. Bunch of slimy stuff in here that God knows what it is. Gosh, there's a lot in there. Some weird green crap going on here. All right, we're empty. Is it squirting the headlights too?
Yeah, there's like something coming from somewhere else in the front. The radiator sprayer, keeping the radiator fully out.
Gee whiz. But you can see there's some funky blue crap there that we don't want, that's for sure. All right. I've really finally developed the habit. See, this hose is a little too tight. It's light, but it gets a little bound up. So I've finally developed the habit of doing that and then doing the car, just in case my tip ever blew out. Oh yeah, look at that. That water's parked on there. I'm sure this thing has seen many car washes in its day. Oh boy. That's what we call, ain't got no wax, bro. So we'll be swapping these out and getting rid of the orange or the amber there. And I got carbon fiber mirror caps, which everybody makes fun of me for at HQ because they cost a lot of money. It's a small price to pay to de-grandpa. We're gonna have to do something about this chrome right here. That ain't no good. Oh yeah. This is gonna be fun. All right, you guys are gonna witness. I gotta do the first modification. Actually, I'm lying to you. I already did the exhaust, which I'm gonna want a new exhaust already. Gas cap. Always controversial. You know this is good when I got a pair of clippers. You always got to get rid of the rope. If you don't get rid of the rope, you're guaranteed to have some problems in the future. I'll grab a razor blade and snip that a little tighter. This one's always popular with the ladies. Michelle always yells at me for this one. Why'd you take the rope off? I said, so you don't leave it hanging, smacking off a fender. Or you accidentally drop it. I'd rather drop this on the ground than drop and I'll smack it off my fender. I'm not a baby or a dog. I don't need a leash. I'm sure many of you are like this, but I always, you could put it on upside down like that. That ain't no good. I gotta stop saying ain't, or else it's gonna become part of my vernacular. There you go. So it's always facing up. Done. First, second mod, done. Mod, it's another word I love. Gotta get the plate off. Guaranteed, I'm gonna leave the plate off and drive to HQ after this, and I'm probably get pulled over. Hey, look, bro, just trying to detail, man. Cut me some slack. All right. This is getting good, man. The further into these detailing series I get, the more stuff I actually have available, like the bucket filler, the buckets, the foam cannon. I need to get a fire hose nozzle, though. That's on the list. All right, so there's our soap. Do a little. Hope you don't get your finger stuck in there. Mix method. Again, always hold the bottle. Hold this and twist the bottle onto the metal thinger instead of the opposite. Somebody said you should make a quick disconnect for this. That's a great idea. I'll try to figure that out someday. But right now, I got to get this M5 up to my standard. So we got the car rinsed already. Always try to do this with one hand. One hand never works. I don't normally go over the car twice, but in the decon process, I usually do. Just load it up. Everyone always questions why they should buy the PF22 and not just buy some cheap Amazon version. I mean, that you use a whole lot less soap. I mean, I was able to go over this giant M5 twice, and it's just so much more efficient than even like the original MTM foam cannon. So even buying this versus the regular version, I just think it's just way better. Works better, uses less soap. It's a win-win. This is about the extent of the maintenance I do to this thing. This is my original one. Notice the screw on top is rusted. This sucker's been used and abused. Take a little decon soap, put it on my pad. I forgot to get one of my, I think we send it with a little pop top. Apparently I'm getting all the hand-me-downs. I always put it on the sponge first, that way I don't accidentally shoot it out of the container. There's a little bit of hyperwash in here too that I dumped in out of the foam cannon from yesterday. But this feels, it's super slick. That's why I think my pH test is a little off. So whatever the heck is in this stuff, just works great. This is an old chemical guy's product. So I haven't even washed this thing yet. So this is technically first wash as well. It's a big day. Man, it's a big car. I don't know what I was getting myself into. Something tells me I'm gonna have Rex will be washing this thing for me. I'll be paying him rather than doing it myself. I got new wiper blades too. Gonna get this thing up to standard. It was just serviced at BMW, so all the fluids should be up to date, but I might do the diff. I don't think the DCT really needs to be messed with anytime soon. Probably gonna have to replace a couple of these because there's some dents in them. But this soap just has a different feel than anything else you'll use. It feels very basic. That's why I thought it had a really high pH. But in my testing, it only tested at 8.5, 8.3. I don't know. I just know it works. It does a good job of cleaning, stripping, foaming, not killing my hands, not ruining rubber and plastics. So that's why I have it. So shoot, anytime I do a wash and talk on this car being a bluish silver, everybody's gonna be having a hard time. Why are you washing a clean car? I'm telling you people, cars on camera always look clean. Paint in general on camera from 10 feet away looks clean. So when you see all these posts on Facebook or whatever, look how clean my car is, or look how shiny it is. Well, that's kind of pointless because that's why I never do before and after shots. What's the point? I can make before look fantastic. So all you do is just try to make it look bad on the before and try to make it look good on the after. It's just too easy on camera. You just have to trust me on this one. I only wash my cars when they're dirty. But I'm also not going off-roading in my M cars, so you don't even know what a dirty car is. Well, that's kind of the point. Just keep it clean. I haven't really noticed the door jambs. We'll have to get into the jambs in the engine bay and get all the little finer details cleaned and prepped for, because I'll end up polishing them. Obviously, we're working generally top down. I always hit this part early just because it makes me feel good. I like to get the front clip done. And I'll come back and do the lower doors afterward at the very end. So I'm still maintaining the same care and same process I normally would in a wash, even during the decon. Even though I'm going to polish, I don't want to add more scratches if I can help it. I really wonder if this is going to require multiple steps. The only thing I will do is I'll attack a bug a little bit earlier during this process than I would if the car was corrected. And because there's nothing on the surface of the paint, I'm going to have to chase these bugs a little bit more aggressively than I will after it's coated. Who knows how long some of these bugs have been on here. That one's a nasty one. Needless to say, these chrome grills will be gone. We'll just pull all the grills and gills and reflectors and all that stuff out for polishing. Gosh, all the water sits right where I don't want it to. People are like, you should fix that. It's all part of it, Bryce. Get in there. I expect to be laying chest in the water. Yeah, gotta get the shot. Yeah, but people are like, just get rid of the water. I mean, or just drill. What do you want? Just drill a hole in the concrete? I gotta break the whole thing up, regrade it. It's gonna cost like 10 grand. I gotta quit buying cars.
At least 2 carbon fiber recaps.
Yeah, I've got $76 million, remember? So I can just do that whenever. Plus then I won't have a wash bay. Where am I gonna wash the cars while they're taking a month to tear it apart? I'll get there, trust me. That's if I don't sell this house first. Who knows? All right. Why are you breathing so heavy? There goes the buckets. Dang it. Why can't I have that drainage over there by the front bumper? Yeah, this thing is dirty. I'm not used to washing dirty cars like this, having to work for it. The door jambs aren't too bad.
Haven't washed a car with the rear door in a while, have you?
No. Not used to this. This car's big enough, I might have to actually go fill up the buckets again. Yeah, this is cared for pretty well. It's not as dirty as I thought it would have been. Luckily we're doing this in the morning when it's not quite a billion degrees out, but it's certainly humid. Got a carbon fiber rear diffuser for this thing. I'm waiting for that. RKP from IND. I'll be pulling the M5 badge off, so people will be freaking out about that. People are gonna think you have a 5 Series. It is a 5 Series. I want someone to roll up on me at a light, not know.
I've got all these HPs. This is gonna be a fun project. This thing's gonna be great when it's done. All kinds of crunchies in the paint. Maybe this will motivate me after I get this all polished to get the M3 water spots out and finally done. Now that I fixed the fan, M3 is mechanically very sound. I actually just sent Steve Dinan an email. I called Carbon Auto Works, and they asked me to send Steve an email about the possibility of going out there and doing a series and putting Dinan Stroker in my E92. So that may postpone my Corvette purchase. We'll see. Which would you rather have, a Corvette or a Dinan Stroker M3 video of me building that with Steve Dinan? I think about 50% of you would probably say Corvette, but that's just ridiculous. Gosh, this thing's big. I changed my mind. I should have got Michelle an M3 sedan. If only the F80 didn't sound so bad. We just made it. This is why we do 6-gallon buckets, not 5. God, stay open. This is not good. I'm already getting cranky. I'm already getting the interior all jacked up. Last spot. And then it's on to iron removal. Interested to see how much iron this thing has in it. Okay. Boom. So the nice thing is this soap doesn't destroy my hands. One of the nice things. It's super slick. You'll eat it here walking around on this smooth pavement. Soap, or not soap, but water parked on the car because there's definitely nothing left now. Even if there was something left. Man, this silver is gonna look amazing when I get it all polished. All right, iron remove it. You know, you could, if you really wanted to, you could blow the car off. Blowing it off isn't gonna do much. But I find CarPro IronX to be strong enough to just not have to worry about that. So just keep yourself organized here. Make sure you hit all the surfaces. I'll probably blow through 3/4 of this bottle. Maybe half of it. So what you're doing here is we want to remove any embedded iron particles for not only the clay process, but also because we don't want to dislodge metal. The clay probably wouldn't get it, but we don't want to be moving particles of iron, metal, and moving it around aggressively on the surface of the paint, causing more marring than we have to have. And same thing with polishing. We want to make sure we have all that embedded iron out of the surface so we don't end up picking it up on the polishing pad and grinding it around in the surface. You hit the glass. Plastic is also okay.
have quite a bit of purple back here, but we'll see. I'm gonna be let down if this doesn't have a bunch of iron on it. This car came from Kentucky. I'm not sure where it was before that guy had it. He had it for like a year and a half or so. I find I do this so infrequently that I don't need any kind of special pump sprayer. If I was detailing for a living, I would definitely have this mixed up in a pump sprayer of some sort. Like a pressurized sprayer, I mean, not a hand sprayer. Yeah, we got some. A little bit of iron going on here. You see those little purple swirly marks. Okay, so we let that sit for 5 minutes or so, and then we get it off. We don't want to let it dry. I don't know what would happen, but let's not try it. So, let's see, I wouldn't say quite a bit, but there is some iron. You can see all the little purple. Should be good to hose it off now. If anything, it just makes you feel good about it. Makes you feel like you're getting a deep cleaning. Okay, so now the car's wet. Start working on the mechanical parts. So I don't always do this because usually my cars are pretty well maintained, but I'm gonna have a little rinse bucket here for my auto scrub pad. Because this car has more contamination than what I normally have, I just have a bucket of just water here just to kind of rinse out my pad every so often. So I always start on the glass. Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't think this product does very well in these sprayers. No, this one's broken. Jeez. It's the first blue one I've had. So, as we're working on new tips. If they don't come out with new tips, then I guess Maddie's out. So I always saturate this down pretty aggressively. And then, I mean, I'm not really doing a lot of pressure. I just tend to do more speed. More speed than pressure. Even though I know I've used this before, it's just good practice to always break these things in on the glass first. I tell you what, this is way better knowing that I'm going to do the decon today and I'm done. And I'll do taping tomorrow, and masking, and then polishing probably a week later. So I get to take my time and enjoy it. Because I'm already at the edge of enjoyment right now. I'm sweating. I used to really micromanage this process. It's just not necessary. We just want to get it, 95% if we can. I used to think claying was like super important. It's more of just a utility. Just get the job done, get in, get out, get to polishing. Again, I like the black bottles better. The only reason I use the blue ones is because I sold all the black ones. I didn't have any for myself. I don't know, we'll see about the viability. I'm working on it, but it'll be slow. It'll take many years to get figured out. All right, so glass is done. Good news is that's a big chunk of the car. So now we can go on to doing paint. Just doing this alone makes it feel so much smoother and more crunchy. So yeah, I'm gonna spread this out over as long as it takes and do little sections at a time. And in the old days when I only had one car, I would have to do this really quickly and get this over with. And I'd resign myself to doing it all in one weekend. Now I'll take this thing over to HQ and let it sit there and do it one step at a time. Yeah, this isn't particularly heavily contaminated. It's coming off nice and easy. I just never find a need for the more aggressive versions of these sponges. I'd bought them in the beginning, so I had both. I'm like, well, I need both. If they have 2 different types or 3 different kinds, I need them all. And I never used them. Never needed it. The fine version is good enough. So no need to get more aggressive. The spoiler's coming off. So we'll take all the badges and spoilers and grills and gills out as we're taping. That'll make it easier to polish up to the edges of all that stuff anyway. Let's just do the back here. I'll do the back area. We'll come around and do the front. So again, on a much heavier contaminated car is where I'll visit the bucket just to kind of clean off the sponge. The cool thing about this is if you ever drop it, you can just pick it up, rinse it off, and keep going. If you drop a clay bar, you gotta throw it away. And I want to try not to miss spots if I can help it, but this isn't like a critical thing. So you can see, you can put this on a machine, but this is way faster and more effective. This is where you might need to use Tarex if you have some heavier stuff, but looks like I got it all. You should probably also follow the top-down mentality, but I'm just kind of moving. The most satisfying part is always the hood. I'm sure somebody's keeping they've got their spreadsheet out. Let me know how many spots I've missed. At minute 27 and 23 seconds, you clearly missed the fender in that one location. They used to do that to me and say that I hit the ground with a towel. Now it's, you're driving too fast on that road. I'm glad my family doesn't live around there. That's when I say, I got big brakes, bro. I hate doing the front and rear bumpers are always the worst, least fun parts of any of this process. Actually, I take it back, the least fun is doing this in the middle of the summer. That's a terrible idea. Don't do that. I'm gonna start spraying myself down with this Glide. If I'd actually get my fat rear end in shape, I could just put on a bathing suit like I used to back in the old days.
Well, we might get demonetized there, man. Careful. We're gonna lose those $1.
I would pick up a large percentage of female audience, that's for sure. You'd have to really work on exposure though. It'd be a little bright.
Like a light bulb walking around.
Yeah. I am pure, inferior, bad teeth, white skin European. It's not good. You got all the bad European traits, none of the good ones. Although I could jump pretty high at one point. Here's where I need a little bit of Tarex and whatever this thing is. Yeah, feeling pretty good. I think this car is going to turn out nicely when it's all said and done. This is like a CrossFit workout where you abandon all form. And this is where you blow out your vertebrae because you just want to get it done. It's a joke. For all you guys who go to a gym and do 5 sets of 5 and are miserable,
Well, I'm having fun. When I
It
came
looked
home,
very fun in that hex blow.
then I come home and eat myself into oblivion and completely negate all that torture that I put myself through. And then I cry myself to sleep. And then some 14-year-old on YouTube tells me I'm fat, and then I cry myself awake. And then I start the cycle all over again. But those darn little Debbies are so good. I can't say no. And I end up mouth breathing on my videos. It's like a vicious cycle of death, destruction. All right, done. Let me spray this thing off, and then we'll wrap up this video, and then we'll go to the engine bay. All right, so smartest thing to do, go to obsessedgarage.com, buy the decon package. You'll have everything you need. You can do exactly what I just did here. Get the paint ready for the next step, which will be polishing. So just to recap, we first decontamination washed it, or used like a soap to hopefully strip it, and then we rinsed it, then we iron removed it, then we rinsed it, and then we just did the auto scrub. You can use a clay bar, start on the glass, do the rest of the car. What I'm going to do now is this will be episode 2, so I'm going to wrap this one up, is I'm going to do the engine bay. But that's a decon process, and don't overthink it. You just want to get the car prepped as much as humanly possible. It's a good time to clean up jams and clean off rubber seals and things like that. That's where all-purpose cleaner and stuff will come in. Go check out the next video on cleaning the engine bay. It's a good time to do that as well. Get rid of all the crappy stuff in your windshield washer bottle, spray those out, and so that's the decontamination process. So episode 2 coming, which will be a shorter video, which will be engine cleaning and then engine dressing, which we'll do in a single video, single 2-step process, and then we'll get the car in the OGHQ. By the way, I'm going to drive the car over there, and then I'll end up wiping the car down with the razor prior to polishing anyway, so it'll be okay. It's only a mile down the road. I just want to make sure I don't do it in the rain. We may get a little bit of dust on it, but I'm going to wipe the car down anyway, so it won't be a big deal for us. So those of you who are worried about deconning one day and then doing the polishing the next day, and you don't have access to parking it inside or something like that, I wouldn't worry about it, because you can always just wipe it down. So anyway, thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned for more crazy M5 series. Just getting started. It's going to be a long one. Thanks for watching.